Hello. Hello, everyone. Thanks for showing up and waiting for us to get the technical difficulties out of the way. All right, let's get into it. Make sure you guys join the Discord if you have not. Just scan the QR code. This is your first time. All right, make sure you guys sign in. The sign in is dropped. We will be checking. So if you guys want to get pizza, scan or make sure you guys sign in. Also, check the calendar as well. See what events we have coming up. Also, we have the RITSEC mailing list as well. Make sure you guys sign up for that and see what news we have and see what meetings, what presentations we have, and what interest groups are doing. Now, guys, clap it up for the sponsors. All right. Thank you, guys. Make sure you follow our social media. You guys can stream the presentation if you guys want to join remotely next time. Also, check out our LinkedIn for any new LinkedIn posts and also our Instagram. You might be featured on there. All right, now time for announcements. We have the WESIS Cross Chapter CTF. Make sure you guys interested in signing up for this CTF, scan that QR code right there. It is being held on March 28th to the 29th, and it is fully remote. So if you guys want to get some experience in, scan that QR code. There's also a WESIS movie night. They're watching Snowden at the Marshall. If you guys are interested in watching that as well, that is also happening on the 28th from 11:30 to 2:30. Anyone is welcome. Now also, if you guys are interested in running for e-board for next school year, we have a few positions open. President all the way down to head of research and education. The timeline is right there. I suggest you guys sign up. For you guys coming to education, I want to see you guys running for head of education because you guys are here. If you guys have any questions about what I do for head of education, don't be afraid to reach out. We also have some past IRSEC here and treasurer, and if you guys are interested about any position, don't be afraid to ask about it. So yeah, make sure you guys sign up. You guys are our members, and we need you guys to run the club after we are done. Also, slide roulette. If you guys not heard of this before, at the end of every semester, we do a cool, funny slideshow where you make a slideshow for someone, and someone else presents it. It's a cool, funny way to have some fun with your fellow RITSEC members. We hope you guys participate this year. It's always a blast. And yeah, it is April 24th. Make some slideshows, guys, and you will have a fun time. All right. Everyone making a slideshow? Yeah. Thank you, guys. All right. We also have Imagine RIT signups. The cybersecurity building will be turned into a Rybski space station. This is happening with the cyber range staff, and we will be, if you guys are interested in helping out, we will be responsible of doing our regular IG operations and welcoming people as they come in. If you guys want to get your name out there, or maybe get to know a little bit of the cyber range staff or anyone coming around for Imagine RIT, I highly suggest you guys get involved. These are opportunities for you. Scan that QR code if you're interested. All right. We also have WESIS elections. If you guys want to run for any of the WESIS e-board positions, they are open. Nomination period is from March 18 to April 3rd. Scan the QR code to see what positions are open or any information about it. Yeah, and the elections are April 6th in this presentation room from 5:30 to 6:30. So if you guys are looking for any leadership positions and you want to be a leadership position in WESIS, here you go. We also have the RITSEC CTF happening. I want to see you guys there. Teams of 4. Very cool competition, pirate theme. Also free food happening at Next Contagion, April 2nd, the day before the competition. So if you guys want free food, learn how to make a CTF challenge, and get some insight from the CTFCA himself. Check out Contagion next, and also April 3rd is the RITSEC CTF. That's next Friday, and before that, we will also have a presentation about how to do CTFs. So don't be worried if it's your first one. I got you guys lined up to learn how to do them. So you take the course first, and then you do it yourself after. Um, yeah, we got some cool challenges for you guys, and definitely beginner challenge. A lot of beginner challenges too. It's a lot of fun, and it goes throughout the weekend. All right. Without further ado, we have OSINT, which is Open Source Intelligence by Odessa. Clap it up, guys. Try to talk into it because it's missing the fuzzy part.
Test, test.
Yeah, you gotta like talk into it.
Test, test. Okay. Cool. Let me just put this on. I feel so official. Okay. Wait, Adam. Just control it here.
All right, you got it.
Welcome to OSINT. A bit about who I am first. My name's Odessa. I use she, her pronouns. I'm third year CSEC. Occasionally go to VRig when I'm not dead. I used to run Void Linux. Now I run Artix. I like packages. What can I say? I do cool stuff occasionally, like going to raves. I went to DEF CON this summer. That was also pretty cool. Enjoy body mods. Looking to get more tattoos when I have more money. For ISTS, I was the main person behind our WeirdOS, otherwise known as NodeOS. It was a hell of a 2 months. I'll be doing a presentation about it at some point. Imagine Linux, but instead of having a usable front end, it's JavaScript, and it's a shell, and it doesn't have any packages or any space. It was fun. Ash disagrees. And yeah, my words of advice, sleep is not important if your project is cool enough. That being said, what are we doing? We're going to be going over what OSINT is, why we do OSINT, how to do OSINT, including some tools that I personally use. Forgot to throw this in there, but we will be doing a semi-live demo of running an operation on one of our favorite Rybski members, Michael Brenner. And then you'll go off and do your own demos. So getting started. A disclaimer. The information contained in this presentation is for educational purposes only. RITSEC nor its members hold any responsibility for any misuse of the information provided in any slides, discussions, activities, or exercises. Don't be evil. All right, now that's out of the way. I can get on the fun stuff. What is OSINT? OSINT, strict definition, is open source intelligence. So it's intelligence gathered from the analysis of publicly available data or information. So stuff online that isn't locked behind a paywall, isn't locked behind someone's password, just freely out there. Posted publicly, even if it's a little hard to access publicly. You don't have to go through any sacrifices to get at it. Is it legal? Yeah. Within reason. Varies by the laws of your country what you are allowed to do. But generally speaking, you're allowed to search people up. When you start publishing information, that's where we get into doxing, which is illegal. So don't publish people's information online without their consent. All the information I will be publishing online as of today, I got full consent for, and Brenner checked over everything, and actually did tell me to remove something, so yeah, do that. Is it ethical? Really depends what you're using it for. Use your best judgment. If you have a good reason, it still might not be ethical. You might not be an ethical person. It's on a case-by-case basis, so just be careful whenever you're doing OSINT operations. Why do we do OSINT? Two sides, really. You have the good side, security and defense, business intelligence, general investigations, journalism, especially journalism, and research and education like we're doing here. Businesses will use some of these OSINT tools to do background checks when you're applying. to make sure you're not a criminal, to make sure you aren't posting problematic things online. And the bad side, privacy invasion, disinformation, espionage, cyber threats, and legal and ethical breaches, taking advantage of people, blackmailing people. Don't do that. Oh yeah, again, doxing is when you publish your findings online without consent. Again, do not do this. It is illegal. It's really easy to accidentally do, but there's like serious consequences. Do not do it. We use OSINT mainly to get our social engineering attacks better. So in cybersecurity, like, okay, we find out a bunch of stuff about this person. What are we actually going to do with it? We take it and we put it into a social engineering attack. So the more you know about the person, the better you can tailor your attack to seem more realistic to what they would expect. So if you're doing a phishing email, if you can find out the email that you're sending it to a bunch of services it's signed up for, you can try and disguise your email as a service they're used to getting emails from. Looks less weird, looks less suspicious. They're more likely to click on your phishing link to download LumaStealer. For phishing, phishing with your voice, traditionally over phone, like scam calls to try and get you to give up your bank information, it's kind of hard to do if you don't know what bank they use. You can find that out using OSINT. For physical ops, or for physical social engineering, how do they address? What communities are they in? What can you wear that will lower their defenses? What can you wear that might provoke a certain reaction out of them that you want? And just in general, pretext, an excuse to do something or say something that is not accurate. Just in general, being able to know what they want to hear. So here's a little example. So our attackers here, they want to get at Michael Brenner. So they find his Discord, and from that they're able to get to his website. Well, that's pretty interesting. He has a Rybski GitLab account. I wonder what he does there. Surely it's not the ISTS store. Hey Brenner, can we join store? And now you've got at him. Now you're in his close circle. Now you have access to his computer. That is a social engineering example where we used OSINT to gain more information so we could get at Brenner. But now let's get to the fun stuff. How to OSINT. This isn't a tutorial, but it'll provide you some tips. We're going to start off with the professional side. There's a 5-step cycle that you're pretty much going to follow on every single op you do. Starting with preparation, figuring out what you need to get answered, what you need to find. Your goal, what do you need to get to that goal? Because it doesn't matter what information you find if you aren't able to apply it. So what do we need answered and what do we need to know? Step 2, collection. Where will your data come from? What tools are you using? Where will you be keeping it? Where will you be formatting it? Where will you be connecting things to each other? 3, processing. How can you make your data useful? A lot of information you're going to find is not going to be useful. Believe it or not, someone's pet's name normally cannot be used to reset their password. So, like, that's not really useful information. But a home address or a mailing address is. So how can we make the data we found useful? 4, analysis, what questions can be answered? This ties back to number 1. What needs to be answered? Now we have the information, how can we answer it? And 5 is dissemination reporting. How can we convey our analysis? So oftentimes OSINT will be done as part of a pen testing op. You have to report everything. How are we going to be reporting it? And after that's done, we go back to number 1. What do we know now? What do we still need to know? OPSEC is the concept is like sort of the opposite to OSINT. It's keeping your personal security safe, be that like about yourself or about your company. Yeah, it's an analytical process used to attempt to deny adversaries information, keeping your digital footprint either as small or as scattered as possible. Yeah, its purpose is protecting sensitive information, protecting information disclosure to adversaries, and denying an adversary information. There's a saying that OPSEC is kind of dead because of the internet and because like signing up for microservices, data brokers. That is technically true. However, it is a lot easier to, instead of hiding information, making sure you do things that will be logged under separate digital footprints, making sure they're not connectable to each other. So yes, that information might be out of there, but without the correct context, it's useless to whoever finds it. Social media is really important for OSINT. Going back to OPSEC, people really like to share their lives, really like to share too much about their lives, actually. And it makes getting information really easy about someone if they have a public account, or even like on some private accounts, you'll still have a visible bio. Thinking about RIT students, if you're trying to find something about someone in one of your classes, oh, they're in a specific fraternity or sorority. That's a start. Their profile might be private, but you know where to start now. Facebook can be used really well to get someone's family information if you're able to find names of family members. Oftentimes, people, like, even though your target might be really paranoid about their security, their parents aren't. Just post stuff. LinkedIn. Normally, LinkedIn is where people will post the information they're okay with sharing, but sometimes when used with other information, it can become really easy to exploit. If someone has a public Twitter, that's their fault. You can look at their reposts, at things they've said, going back years. If that's public, that's on them, honestly. In social, it's often really important to remember that when you hit a dead end, you can pivot to other things. So if you hit a dead end on a website, don't keep hammering at it, don't keep trying at it. Use what you've learned now, pivot off of that. Start trying things together in different combinations. Again, if someone has a good social media barrier, someone in their family probably doesn't. And, you know, they might be in like tagged photos, for instance. Yeah, part 2, social media. People's OPSEC is really bad sometimes, most of the time actually. Have you ever reused a username? I can find that. Put your real name in your username. That is connected your account, wherever that is, to not only the rest of your online accounts, but to your real identity. So now, maybe an account you didn't want to be connected to your real identity, we can figure out that that's you. Tagged in photos on social media, again, a lot of people forget to check this when you're hiding or when you're going more private. Your friends will just tag you in their photos. There are certain ways to find that, but that is information, and that's now on your friends to protect, not on you. And lastly, if you're personally connected to the target you want to find, you might have some mutuals. For instance, if you're trying, for some reason, for like a demo, for instance, you're trying to OSINT someone in Rybski, you might have a lot of mutuals that you can use to find funny photos. Or you might be able to DM one of their team members and get a very silly photo of them stretched out on the couch. So that's generally how to OSINT. Now we're going to get into specific tooling you can use. Most of these are going to be free, or like You have to sign up with an email. But all of them are going to be really useful. Starting at the very lowest, your search engine. Google Dorking is really useful for finding specific things because you can specify extremely specific searches. So if you're looking for a textbook, you could use something like whatever the name of the textbook is, and then file type :PDF, and that will return only PDFs with that exact string in them. It's pretty cool. Other cool ones, confidential file type PDF and specifying a site. In URL admin of a site. Maybe the auth isn't set up correctly. Or anything site, Pinterest.com. This is an old presentation. There's a lot of information that is hidden in metadata as well that you can look for. So these Google searches will search them as well. So you may have to go a little deeper into whatever you find, but it will be there. There's a couple tools online that you can use to make very specific Google Dorks that if you don't know all the syntax, you can just look those up. They're really easy to find. Image and video searches. Reverse image searching something is a really important part of OSINT because there's just so much information there, especially on like a profile picture, if it's a unique profile picture. Google Lens is what most people use. Just go to images.google.com and press on the little camera icon. You can just upload images there. It'll search for them. Bing Visual Search, if you're a Bing user, probably has some AI integration as well because Bing has AI integration. Might be useful. I don't use it. There are CLI tools, FFmpeg, which is normally just used for turning one kind of media into another. Can still be used to extract metadata, can still be used to figure out very specific things. EXIF tool is an OSINT or CTF tool used exclusively to find metadata about images. So trying to find something about a certain picture, well, if they didn't wipe the metadata and they took it on a nice camera, it might have a GPS tag on it. Now you know exactly where that photo was taken, which can be very useful, or it can be the solution to a CTF challenge. Do Rybski CTF. Then there are some other web tools, web extensions. TinEye used to be a really powerful tool for reverse image searching. It's pretty dead now. If you're able to find something out of it, good, but most likely it just won't return anything. Google Lens is really the best bet here. People search engines. They are online search engines that just collect data about people connected to names. You can find a lot about anyone with a certain name. You just put the name in, maybe their address, maybe their state, maybe a phone number, maybe an email, and it'll give you a lot of information correlated with that. A lot of this works best on US residents. I can't imagine why you'd be trying to OSINT someone who isn't a US resident here. But yeah, you will get less accurate results for that. Some of these sites are kind of shady though, and they will try to make you pay, even if the information is technically free. Don't pay for it. There's just pivot to another site. Don't ever pay for a people search engine unless you have like a really good reason to. The other thing with these is finding the wrong information is really easy. If someone has a somewhat common name, maybe there's 2 of these people in this certain city you're looking at. So just any information you find there, make sure you can tie it back to the person you are trying to target. Because if you aren't, now you're just going after some innocent victim. And they don't deserve that. G-Hunt. This is inarguably my favorite tool. Because most people don't realize how much public information Google has on you by default. They just, like, if you have any public Google calendars and I have your email, I can find that. Your Google Maps review page, really useful. That's public unless you hide it. If I get your email, put it in there, I can go to your Google Maps review page. Ever left a review of like a restaurant in your city? Maybe you're like a local guide. Now I know where you frequent. This can be, gHunt can be disabled somewhat because you can go into your Google settings and set a lot of your stuff to private. It's not that by default. I would highly recommend going into your Google settings and making sure there's no information, or download gHunt, run it on yourself, see what you can find. It's just a Python tool, so you install it with pip. It's, yeah, again, it is my favorite tool, and we will probably be using it in the demo later. Government records. Public records, they're government sites, so they look really sketchy because it's government and they don't have good web devs, but they're accurate. As long as they're official government, they are accurate. For example, voting records. In a lot of states, they're just public. If you have a name, you can go and find the voting record. They're organized by county a lot of the time, so it may require a little bit of OSINT to get down to where you need to be, but again, they're really useful. Use your Google Dorking, use some of the other tools you have, figure out, if you can figure out a general area, gHunt. You can find out what their city is. The restaurants, like a bunch of reviews. What county's that? Maybe look at that person in that county. Other things you can find: deeds, powers of attorney, mortgages, discharge of mortgages. So now you have a lot of house information, and just generally whatever the government collects on you that they decided to make public for no good reason. Oh, yes, in our example here, if you get a ham radio license, your ham profile is public. You can't make it private. So here's our good friend John from Ops. That's his call sign, previous call sign. That's an address. This is public information. I had his name. I just looked him up. He does know that this exists, though. Everyone who gets a ham license, they're aware that this is published, so that they can't be too evil under their real name. The US records, as a personal note, again, they're horrible to use. Canadian records, the experience is so wonderful. Whatever the Canadian government does to make their lookups like fast and pretty, it's great. It's so much better than the States. Networking tools. This is going away from searching for people specifically, and now say you found some websites, maybe one of their websites. Dig an NS lookup, query DNS directly, find stuff about their DNS. Traceroute. Surely they aren't just running a server out of their home. You can find their IP. Whois is registration for domain names. It's not super useful anymore. But again, if there's any information on there and you run it, you can find it. Maxmind can be used to geolocate IP addresses. Looking at certificates on someone's website, you might find a hidden page where auth is using the default password or something. Now we're getting more into like actual web attacks, but like information. Audible mention is the robots.txt. This is on some pages a specific page used to tell bots what not to index. People will just put their the domains they don't want to get indexed, they don't want to be public, in there. Just go to a website and /robots.txt. Might be there, might not. Again, it isn't necessary. Cloudflare also does stuff now to prevent bots, and a lot of people use Cloudflare, so it's less useful, but any little bit helps. Think about all of your networking classes, everything you've learned in there that you might be able to use to figure out information about IPs. The IP is public. This is all open source intelligence. Shodan. Another very fun tool. It helps automate a lot of your web tooling. Specifically, it's a port scanner. So if you have a website, you can run it in Shodan. It'll find all the open ports. It'll find DNS information. It's really powerful. You can find open CCTV cameras if anyone's had Weissman and he's pulled up that one website where you can just view public CCTV cameras. This is the method that's used to discover them a lot of the time. Some parts of Shodan are locked behind a paywall. I was lucky enough there was what? Oh, there's a student plan? Oh, there's a student plan. Oh, student plan is free. Okay. I was lucky enough a couple months ago there was an amazing sale we could get full access forever for $5, and so I did that. But yeah, sign up with your student email. We are an accredited university, so you can just get Shodan access for free. I did not know that. Going to more CLI tools, the Harvester is a bulk search engine for OSINT to automate your searches. I'm pretty sure it's built into Kali. There's a ton of plugins. One of the developers and maintainers is a Rybski alumni. Useful tool for just gathering large amounts of data on a person or a website. Spiderfoot, automated scans. It gives a nice report of results. Mostly relies on basic web, like, oh, does the page exist? DNS records. Some websites will check, like, oh, if an email exists for this website, we can send a reset password request. Now we know that email is associated with this website. It can be pretty unreliable, though. Diamonds in the rough kind of situation. Hunchly is not really something you're going to use every day. It's a tool used by large organizations for investigations. If you get a co-op doing open source intelligence, which you can do, I know someone who got a co-op doing that for a bank, you might end up using this, yeah. It's not free, so again, you probably won't end up using it in your personal life, but who knows, could be useful. Maltego is of a similar use case. You're not really going to be using it by yourself. It is also more of a organization-based tool, but its visualizations are really nice because it connects to everything using a large graph, and then you could just like move it around, connect things to each other. Yeah, it's fun to use. In the OSINT class, I'm pretty sure people used it. I don't think it's being offered anymore, though, unfortunately. The OSINT framework. So this is a large repository of tools online, all connected to OSINT and OPSEC. If you look it up, the website itself is just a website of little nodes you can click on depending on what you want. Some tools are outdated and don't work. Some domains have been bought and now go to scam websites because threat actors didn't like those tools being on the OSINT framework. But it's kept roughly up to date, and there are some very funny tools on there. For instance, I am going to mispronounce this. Maigret, it's French. It is the successor to a tool called Sherlock, which is username lookups. It has issues. It has a lot of false positives because it more looks for, so it tries to load on each of the websites a profile with that username, and if it returns an error or returns a successful connection is if it tells you it exists. So you will get a bunch of false positives for when the page still loads, even if there isn't a profile there. But you can use it as well to find some really cool stuff. Wiggle.net. Oh, I did not finish typing there. It's for finding Wi-Fi signatures, like Wi-Fi networks. People will war drive around and submit what they find in their scans, like to wiggle.net. And so if you have a general area, you know, maybe leverage it, maybe find networks around. I have used wiggle.net for CTFs before as well, so just keep it in mind. ADSB exchange. If you've ever heard of Flight Radar 24, it's that, but there's no request to remove private planes. So on Flight Radar 24, Elon Musk requested that his private planes be removed. ADSB exchange does no such thing. It just scrapes ADSB information, any flight. It's cool. And then this last one, I think it's pronounced Holy. It's the little devil up there in the corner. You can submit an email to it, and it'll check if that email has been used on a bunch of services. Again, like Migrate, you'll get a lot of false positives, but if you check, you can lower it down and maybe find some interesting websites that have an email connected to them, Michael Brenner. I didn't put it in my demo, don't worry. Finally, let's talk about artificial intelligence in OSINT. This is new to this year because AI was not in the place it was last year, but it can be used as a legitimate tool now, so let's talk about it. AI is incredible at web scraping, like so much better. Not as like up to date as running Google Dorks, but connecting information, building a profile on someone. AI is really good at that. I put ethical concerns up here. This is not about ethical concerns of using AI. This is AI having ethical concerns about what you're doing and not wanting to do it. You can get around it. You can convince it that it's chill. It's AI. You got to deal with everything that comes with AI usage. You can set up MCP servers for using specific tools. You might have to build one for using a specific tool. Oftentimes, it's just better to use it yourself than give the tool to an AI. It's good for connecting data or finding correlations between different sources. Ultimately, again, you have to worry about everything with AI. It having ethical concerns, it just hallucinating data, connecting things that aren't there. Yeah. So now to our live demo. I'm so glad you could show up, Michael Brenner. This is gonna be so fun. So if you can just come up here, we're gonna have a little bit of technical downtime now while we set up everything.
Is that the end of the actual slides?
There's no actual slide. Just like do just terminal.
It is over there.
Okay.
You want to show up here? You can move it back and forth if you want. If that makes it easier.
My own chair.
Yeah. You can enter there. Move the terminal. We can just spawn it.
It's not actually sharing. Are you able to share the screen?
Oh, is it not sharing this screen?
No, it's not shared.
No.
Oh, there you go. You got
Yeah. It is. Okay.
You just have to keep it over there.
I would like to state now, all of the information I'm about to present. Hold on, does this work? Does the microphone still work? Oh, that's great. Okay, I have two hands now. All this information I'm about to present has been given the okay by Michael Brenner as of before I woke up this morning. So I will not be sharing anything that isn't already in my overview.md. So yeah, let's get started. So you haven't picked it up, I am going to be running a live op on our store lead, Michael Brenner, and starting with the information of his name and Rochester. I'm not using any personal information I found on him because that's kind of cheating. Actually, it might just be easier to open this up. Okay. Oh, there we go, at the top. So, Michael Brenner, Rochester, New York. We can immediately pivot from that. We can, let me pull a web browser up so it's like, okay. We can find his LinkedIn. I hate LinkedIn. What? Yes. I'm actually going to move over here so I can actually see what I'm doing, because this is a bit easier. Whatever. I'll just tell you what I found on his LinkedIn. We found this GitHub, Viper Sniper 0501. It's dead. We found this GitLab, MAB 7470. A profile picture. He goes to Rochester Institute of Technology, co-opted with the Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division, and Applied Physical Sciences Corp, and USPS. I didn't know that one. He went to Kaiserslautern High School. That's how pronounced? Okay, that's what's pronounced. Had CompTIA A+. It said it expired in 2023. I don't know if he'd renewed it. He worked on the ISTS store. There's a live GitHub project here, mbdev/moss. He's a member of RITSEC and CCDC. So starting with his school email, I ran it through gHunt. Found nothing. That's unsurprising. gHunt doesn't normally find a lot from RIT emails. Ran it through Holy. Found nothing. Surprise, surprise, he isn't signing up for random services with his school email. Ran Migrate on this GitHub. Which tool's Migrate? I don't remember. One repo. So this is a valid GitHub account. Oh no, I'm sorry. I ran Migrate on this email. It found a GitHub account that uses that email. One repo still says my main account is @ViperSniper. There's also a valid YouTube, but looking at it, I'm pretty sure it was not him. I think it was a wrong person. So that's all we really found from his school email. ViperSniper 0501. This is where the fun stuff begins. Let me see if, here, I'm gonna try and run a scan for you guys live right now. So this is Migrate running. Yeah, first thing, finds us a Stack Overflow. That's pretty interesting. And a Twitch. We found your Twitch. Your Fortnite clips were pretty cool. For some reason, off.gg, League of Legends, it just validates. I'm not going to be looking at that. I'm pretty sure that's, again, there are a lot of false positives. We're not going to Adult Friend Finder live on stream. Maybe you can. The DeviantArt account, I checked it out. It didn't go anywhere. It was false. Okay, it might be his, but there's no information on it. There's no liked post. There's no followed artists. Okay, we don't know if it's his. It's not useful anyway. GitLab /ViperSniper 0501. That's interesting. It's still running, all the tools. A bunch of these are false positives. I'm pretty sure he isn't a seller on Weed Maps. Yeah, who knows though? Maybe he is. So let's hop back into the overview. Found Stack Overflow, a website that's linked. This forwards to michaelbrenner.dev, so we just have his website now. We could have found this from like his Discord, but I'm trying not to use my own personal information on him. As of pretty sure 2021, he was pretty active, answering software engineering answers. He has a pretty good score on Stack Overflow. He wasn't hated. Yeah, so his Twitch tracker. I don't think that's it's either 2019 or 2021. I don't remember. I typed that in wrong. But yeah, Fortnite clips. The DeviantArt uses they, them pronouns and zero information. I don't know if that's him. I know for a fact Michael Brenner uses he, him pronouns, so whatever. GitLab.com/ViperSniper. There's a project, MAMDAU flight code, from this. Okay, so this is a little trick. If you can find someone's Git, a lot of the times, like when you're first setting up your GitHub, you like git config tac email. That's in all of your commits now. So if you set up your personal email with your GitHub or your GitLab or any Git, that just gets tacked onto your commits. So if you clone a public repo and you just check the Git log, we can get an email. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure the oldest iteration of your website, michael.ionsweb.org. Didn't have anything on it, but hop into archive.org. We can find some stuff. Matrix 0501 doesn't do anything yet. So that's pretty much done with Viper Sniper 0501. That was as far as I was really willing to go. David, did we find anything on Adult Finder? Oh, you did not go on Adult Friend Finder? Okay. Not a real one. michaelbrenner.dev. Nothing new off the page. That was Spotify. How many? Oh, yes, here we go. Did I spell it wrong? Oh no, I have to do www. Because of how he did his DNS records. So www.michaelbrenner.dev. We have a GitHub. We have a GitLab. We have a LinkedIn. Did you update this, or is this what it was last night? Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that GitHub was out of date as of last night. Yeah, so as of last night when I was doing this, this still had Viper Sniper 0501. Doesn't really matter, we already found the MBDev, but yeah, worth noting. We found a Blue Sky profile for him, though. Yeah, he follows a lot of people. The Mets, open source, but he did have a repost from a furry artist. In his defense, they were complaining about Nintendo. He could see that username, though. This is on him. I'm pretty sure this is archived on archive.org. If we'll go there, it was there for a while. michaelbrenner.dev. Okay, back to that. Is there anything right now thrown into archive.org? There's a lot of information here. Let me... Let's go check this out. That is not, okay, whatever. You guys can go to it on your own. There's a lot of cool information there. Yeah, he used to have a Minecraft server that ran. he has like really old Cyber Patriot scripts still there, or they were there. They're archived now. This repo, which doesn't exist anymore, might have been a friend, it was a friend from high school, okay. Again, they're not involved in this op, so we're not gonna look into them at all. Not gonna be using any information that there might be on this person. Got some open ports. I just put here what a port lookup service said these open ports were. They're not that. If you want to run curl, like just curl those pages, see what comes up. This gets into web pen testing. Don't do that. But for whatever reason, his website has these ports open. It uses Caddy. I found that out from a curl. There's also a self-hosted matrix. What? Yeah. You can't access it. You go to that website. It says hello from Tunnel Wolf. I'm pretty sure he isn't like this. Here, no, we can actually we can look at it right now. This is Matrix just does this, or I think it does. I looked up this string and it took me to a Russian forum that was talking about Matrix. Oh, okay. I don't know. For some reason, when you look up this string, like the only result for me last night was a Russian forum, and it was talking about Matrix. Unimportant, but kind of funny. So now, mbdev, nothing really compromising in the repos. Nothing really. We did get his email. Again, using that little Michael, using the git log trick. So I ran ghunt on it. Actually, we can do this live as well. Oh, don't worry about that. That's an artist that I chatted with last night. I was doing it for shits and giggles. Don't worry about that. Found your Google Play stuff? Yeah? Last played game, Jetpack Joyride. Most achievements, Clear Vision 3 Sniper Shooter. That's true. Also got his maps data. Oh, hello? Yeah. For whatever reason. Oh, there we go. So, what happened? He has chosen not to show his reviews on his profile. This is something you can do in your Google settings. So, if we went to the reviews of those places that he reviewed, I'm sure we'd see him. But they aren't right here, and he doesn't have any photos. So, unfortunately, we can't use it. Oh, damn, I did open that like 3 times. My bad. Let's go back to the tunnel. That's what ghunt's like. Ghunt's really silly. So yeah, uses Google Photos, Maps, and Meet, has his Google Play data. You can use his player ID to view his Google Play profile directly. Yeah, he has achievements visible from Balatro, Plague Inc., and Jetpack Joyride. A lot of Plague Inc. achievements. He's a big fan. I agree. I ran mbdev through, I ran this email through, it might be Holy. Says it's an activated Spotify, Office 365, and Firefox accounts. So if we were going to do a social engineering attack, if we could somehow typo squat one of those domains or have a domain that looks like it was coming from there, that would make a social engineering attack or a phishing attack a lot more convincing. Pretty much done with like his online persona now. So going who he was, Kaiserslautern High School. You look it up, it's a German high school for active military families. So either one or both of his parents were active duty at some point. You look up just like more information, Michael Brenner, Kaiserslautern. You find, some interesting stuff about his parents. He has a younger brother. I didn't really OSINT them. I did look to see which one of his parents was military. I know at least his father was. Both were? Okay, I couldn't find anything on your mother. I didn't try that hard, though. So, there's probably something out there. So yeah, now going into, like, what?
You found out about David Brenner?
Yes, we did. So yeah, due to this being a military family, I'm not even going to put any effort into finding a home address because moving around a lot, there's no real point. So it's at this point, it's like not worth the effort. When you combine it with everything else we have, home address isn't really that important. So yeah, that was where I ended off last night. I lied about being sleepy. I like finished one of my CTF challenges last night that I was writing. But yeah, that is kind of what it's like to run and off on someone. This is just a little friendly thing. Took me about an hour. Yeah, it's fun. What else did I have in here? Oh, just like different, what's in reports? I don't know what's in reports. Maybe a tool generated that. School email. No, not, the migrate scans didn't do well when I ported them to a file. But yeah, school Gmail. This is what it looks like when there's nothing. So yeah, there's a Google Maps page, no reviews, no public Google Calendar data, no Play data. Maps and Meet have been activated, so maybe he went to Google Maps on his school Gmail once. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that is the end of this demo, and hopefully now you guys should do your demos. That's the end of the presentation. Is there, okay. Yeah, thank you.